Check, sound check. Check. Yeah, these are really directional. If you talk at it from the back and you flip it around to the front, it's a whole way different. Check, sound check. Welcome to Mineral Springs Brewing.
Works right. 0-0. Continues to be 0-0.
Check.
Check. So do you have to hold that microphone?
Yeah, that's fine. I have to hold it, but you don't. You're good.
Do you want to use this
No,
and give that?
I'm going to do this.
Okay.
This is going to be my thing. You guys are the stars. You're going to do the interviewing. You're going to get both of them girls on, and Nate, and you ask some intelligent questions. I'm just the host here.
We'll get Bill.
Mark Tirico.
We got to get Bill too.
We got to get Bill. You ask better questions than I do.
So what I have on the camera right now is the mineral spirit. I have this picture.
Okay.
So we'll just kind of do the intro like that.
Oh, I got a call here. I got to take this. Hey, Dita.
Yeah, Dita here.
Well, good. Where are you, Dita? Are you still at Fulton?
Yeah, Dita is currently in North Loop of Minneapolis. He has left quaint South Minneapolis, Powderhorn Park, for a little bit of libations.
Okay, so you're up in the North Loop. Are you at Fulton? Or are you at one of the other maybe northbound Bruco or one of the other North Loop hangouts there?
Yeah, Dita is currently enjoying 300 IPA. Yeah, at Fulton Brewery. Yeah.
Oh, a 300. Yeah, a very, very good example of an IPA. That's for sure. We are at Mineral Springs, and by the way, we're not on the air yet, but we're very close to being on the air. So this is a good dry run. We're at the Mineral Springs Brewing Company in Owatonna. Fantastic lineup of beers here. We got a cream ale, a Kolsch, a stout. We got a Goza, a Scotch ale, 4 kinds of IPAs, 2 hazy, 2 what I would call
traditional
IPAs, West Coast IPAs, and a couple of others. They got a lager, an amber. Wow, what a fantastic place here. The food truck specializes in burgers. We had choices of Angus beef or Wagyu beef, Japanese beef. Fantastic location here. Really, really, really good stuff. So, yeah, we're just getting the show set up. We're going to do some interviews, and we'd certainly be thrilled to call you here in just a little bit.
Okay. So you're just going to give me a call when you need me, or?
Yeah, if that works for you, we're going to do some interviews. We got a coach. We got 3 coaches here, and myself and Mike, of course, the hosts. We're going to go through a few things, and then we'll certainly be thrilled to give you a call.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I'll just, let me know.
Okay.
I did actually go to another brewery today. I went to Wicked Wort Brewery in Robbinsdale.
Wicked Wort. Okay.
Yeah.
So, right.
Wicked Worts.
Yes.
Worts.
That's in
Like
Robbinsdale.
the beer, like the brewing process. So.
Okay. What did you have over there?
I had a hazy IPA and their house IPA as well. Their standard IPA. It was pretty good.
Okay.
The hazy IPA was really good.
Good. Yeah, this is a fantastic location here. one of the co-owners are parents of one of the girls that's on our team here for Northern Lights, so that's kind of fun. Adds a little zip to it, and yeah, we're having a good time. We've had a lot of good conversation here. Of course, your best conversations occur when you're off the air, not necessarily on the air, but we're live right now is what I understand, so we're just getting the broadcast going here. Very excited to be here, and we're going to do some visiting here with our 3 coaches that we have in-house. Just talk about volleyball in general, maybe the outlook for the fall season. We're going to go over, maybe what you can be doing to stay in shape here in the summer months while we sort of wait for decisions on how the fall is going to look. Is this going to be a season of maybe no fans? Or are we going to have no season at all? Or who knows? Nobody knows all those answers yet. But that's kind of what we're going to visit about here a little bit. And, yeah, we'd be thrilled to have you on the program in the Dieter voice here in about, 15 minutes, something on that order. We're going to interview the owners here, the people that we know anyway, and our coaches, and then we'd certainly give you a call if that works out. So be thrilled to have you on the program.
All right.
Okay, we're going to hang up for now, and we'll get back to you in a little bit here.
Sounds good. Yeah, Dieter out. Yeah.
All right, we look forward to our conversation with Herr Dieter, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Dieter will be here, stand by. Yeah, Dieter will be next to phone. Yeah, Dieter's having little difficulties with phone, if you heard. Yeah, but yeah, it will be much better, much more smooth. Yeah, we got this all figured out. Yeah.
Well, keep your phone nearby, and if we call you back real soon, yeah, for sure. Guten Tag, wie geht es Ihnen heute, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, auf Wiedersehen.
Dieter an.
Yeah, bye-bye. All right, that was Herr Dieter Fuss. For those of you who don't know, the potential perennial candidate for any office that is out there. He's been running for things like Senate seat that was ultimately taken by Tina Smith. He ran for that seat. He's considering making a run against Donald Trump here.
Okay.
So we're looking at that. There's a lot of options in the book here for the great Dieter, so we'll visit with him in a little bit here. Anyway, folks, sounds like we're live here. We want to tell you we are at the Mineral Springs Brewing Company in beautiful downtown Owatonna. Fantastic day here in O-Town, as they call it. We're down by the Straight River, just across from the river here. A hot day, of course, but a fantastic evening here. We have another call here from New Jersey. I'm not sure I want to take that one. I think we're going to put that one away for now, and I'm not sure that we know of anybody that's in New Jersey right now.
If that was intentional, please do call back.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to take calls here in a little bit. But anyway, welcome to the Spolidoro Sports Network special podcast tonight here from Mineral Springs Brewing. I'm Jim Welbrock. I'm alongside Mike Spolidoro. Mike, how are things?
It's great, Jim. What a beautiful evening and a beautiful place. Tucked away kind of right on the riverbanks here. It looks like overlooking, I don't know, you help me with the geography, but there's some water over there. But we're here at Mineral Springs Brewery. It's a crafty little place. They got a lot of different brews on tap. I did not expect the diversity of the brews that they have on tap.
All right, now we've determined who this call is from New Jersey. This is actually Coach Nate Lairs, I believe. Yeah, he's online.
I'm sitting right across from you. I was just wondering what you guys are doing. Is this like a radio talk show? Or?
Oh, we got another guy over here. Okay, now we're figuring out what's going on. We got a guy. We got callers here. We're not sure where everybody's from, so we're a little bit hesitant to take calls here. But yeah.
All right, so I'm from New Jersey. He's from Colorado. He's from Oregon.
Wow, we got the country covered here. This is awesome.
Oh, we're all over the place, man.
Meeting here in the Midwest, I see.
Yeah, how are things going over there?
It's going good. I mean, we had a bunch of beers. The beers are very nice here. Have you guys had any of them?
Yeah, we've
Absolutely.
had a few, and it is a fantastic place. A lot of choices for whatever.
Did you have the Ringmaker?
I have had the Ringmaker. I have had
more than one Ringmakers.
More than one Ringmaker. A Havana Hazy, and I forget the
Straight
third
River.
One. The Straight River.
Straight River is really good too, honestly.
Yeah, fantastic. So, what brings you guys all to town here?
So we're here for Federated.
Okay. Definitely one of the big employers in town here, Federated.
Yeah, they sent us out here for training and everything.
Okay. Good. So
Yeah.
how are you guys surviving the great COVID nightmare here?
I mean, look, we find somewhere to go every day, so it's definitely a fun time. I mean, the beer here is good. Everywhere we're at is fun. I mean, it's a great time out here.
Yeah, it is. I think you just have to make the best of the situation, and maybe there's a chance to do some things you wouldn't normally get to do otherwise. So that's kind of our approach, and you just make the best of it and roll with it. That's all there is.
Did you take advantage to Earl's? Did you take advantage?
Huh?
Did you take advantage of Earl's outside the food truck?
Oh, yeah.
And you had what? Burger?
Yeah, what did you order out there at the food truck?
Oh, so we got the specials, the black garlic burger. It had like the mozzarella on top. It was really good.
Yeah, we had some burgers and some waffle fries to soak
Waffle
up some
fries
of that
were
beer.
kick-ass.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
really
Dumpster
good.
fire.
They were very good, very good. All right, well, we sure appreciate the call. Much appreciated, and hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too, man.
All right, take care.
Have a good guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we had a special caller here at this table about 2 over from ours here, so nice to hear them tonight calling in, and it sounds like people are really enjoying things down here. We got a great vibe here, Mike. It's just
It's a great vibe.
a lot of people around, and again, a great evening to be out. You just can't beat it.
Yeah, you can't beat it, and it's a safe environment. Internally, people are generally encouraged to wear masks, as the state rule in Minnesota. Nice patio outside, and further tables up underneath the trees to get some shade. It is pretty hot outside during the sun. Looks like the sun's behind the trees, so I assume if we go outside, the sun will be down and the mosquitoes will carry us away. So, it's typical Minnesota weather.
Yeah, it is. If you don't like it, come back in 10 minutes, and it's probably going to be something different. But definitely this mid-afternoon today, it was hot. There was no doubt about that. The dew point is what you typically would see in cities like Orlando or Savannah, Georgia, or some of those southern locales. We had a dew point of 75 here today with a temperature around 90. So, man, this is not what we are known for here. We're known for 20 below zero, but any of those of you who are listening, there is actually a July in Minnesota, and it can be awfully hot and humid, that's for sure.
Well, up until 4 p.m. today, you were going to ride your bike here. Is that correct?
I did think about it. I went outside at 2, and I thought a little bit better about it. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. Made a lot more sense to drive down here and enjoy a little bit of socializing here. We had a great conversation with some coaches here, volleyball coaches from Northern Lights, and visiting about what's going to be happening in the fall and kind of what people are doing in the off season to keep in shape and that sort of thing. So really, really great conversation. We're hoping to get some of them to come over here. We got Coach Nate Layers here, the 17 Red coach from this past season. We can say past now because it's definitely past at this point in time. But we've been reminiscing about the great win in Omaha. Just some fantastic times, even though the season was short. It was really a good one.
Yeah, Coach Nate guided the team in Omaha solo. Her assistant coach, Laura, was unfortunately unable to make the tournament, and so Nate bounced around between assistant coaches, but really did a good job keeping the girls focused. We have one of those assistant coaches here today, maybe Annie. We might hear from her, but yeah, it really is. It's an odd time, Jim, and I think each of the girls, as you and I have talked to our daughters and our daughters' friends, each treating COVID a little bit differently, and it's it's an interesting time in their lives, right? This is a pivotal time for the 17-year-olds, juniors in high school, to try to figure out what is life all about, and this is putting them to the test.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of challenges that come along with that age. Just in normal times, it's time for me to start thinking about a college. Do I want to go to college? Do I want to stay near home? Do I want to go off? Do I never want to see my family again? There's a lot of different ways to approach that. But this year, in for sure, is a different situation. We've got some other things to consider. The class of 2020, of course, had their senior year definitely modified by this whole thing, and who knows how much longer this is going to last. This is not a situation that's going to be over anytime soon. So a lot of challenges amongst the normal things that you have to decide for this
That's
kids
right.
of this era.
Certainly memorable.
For sure,
You know,
for sure.
you and I came up. I specifically remember where I was in 2001 with the World Trade Center bombing, and I think for the kids of this age, they are going to remember COVID-19.
Oh,
It had such a
absolutely.
profound impact on a very pivotal time in their lives. So
Yeah. Those are the things you remember from those years around your high school times and your high school days, what you remember a lot of. So I don't know, maybe we should get the attention of one of the coaches here and see if we can't get their thoughts a little bit, and we'll visit.
Well, the only thing I can think of is find a hard object and throw it at them.
Yeah, that might be good. We could have them announced, I suppose, from the front desk here to come over.
Yeah, we do want to make a special call. You mentioned Mineral Springs Brewery here in Owatonna. Very lovely place. Many beers on tap, more than I've seen in a typical brew pub. The diversity of what they're brewing is phenomenal. We do have a connection, full disclosure, we do have a connection with part of the ownership crew in terms of volleyball, but Mary and Bill Cronin did a fantastic job chaperoning our kids to an Omaha tournament, so hopefully we get a word with them later this evening too to talk about, how do they deal with a COVID environment where from a business perspective there's all sorts of new regulations.
Right. Yeah, you've seen a lot of I think restaurants have a really hard time with this. Some have maybe flourished in it if you're already in the takeout business. That it probably didn't have as much effect on you. A lot of the sit-down restaurants, it certainly has had a giant effect on them, this whole thing. And they've had to pivot their business and come up with something in the meantime that works for them and try to survive. I think, they're all hopeful that this will go away soon, so to say. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but I think the businesses that have come open during this time have just faced, again, an additional challenge to try to make things go. Like we mentioned earlier, they got a great space here. It seems like there's a good vibe going on inside. A lot of people in here, a lot of good conversation. We got the Twins on. Of course, the first game is tonight of this rather strange season. Right now we're looking at a 5-5 score here with the White Sox, if I understand it right. And we have kind of an interesting thing. If you're anywhere you're near your TV, you may want to take a look. They actually have some fathead cutouts in the seats directly behind home plate there that give you a little idea of what they've come up with to try. Oh, Twins just took a 7-5 lead.
Polanco with a bases loaded base hit. That's impressive. I do want to point out, Jim, not trying to overstep our bounds here, but when we left to go get the gear to actually host this podcast, the Twins were up 5-1. And so by the time we got back, it was 5-5. Now that we're back on the air, we see Twins lead 7-5. So, I think maybe we talk to Twins management about we may be the Magic. We may be the Twins Magic.
Yeah, it could be. We go on the air and they score some runs, so it could be a good thing here. Maybe we can get a sponsorship from the Minnesota Twins here to keep things on the air. But yeah, great vibe down here. It's my first time here, and very enjoyable, very reminiscent of a lot of the tap rooms that we visited around the Twin Cities. So I think they got a really good thing going, and very friendly, affable staff here that's come around and made sure everything was good. And the food truck is outstanding. We mentioned that earlier. People are enjoying that. So, again, just a stellar evening to be outside, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, Jim, you and I are from different parts of the Twin Cities. What are you hearing in terms of this fall and what's coming up?
Oh, we have another caller. Jeff Hogue, imagine that. Wow, we've got the Hogester on the line. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine. How about you?
We're doing good down here. We got to check our settings here to make sure we're online, but we're at the Mineral Springs Brewing Company. We're here with Coach Nate Lairs, and he brought a couple of other coaches along with us here, so things are good, and great evening to be outside in Minnesota. It's a hot evening, but yeah, maybe give us your thoughts a little bit about kind of what we've been talking about here is, what does the season hold? What does the high school season hold? A lot of unknowns yet that potentially are coming. We don't know what the season might hold, but we'd certainly be curious to hear your thoughts a little bit too.
Absolutely. I think the key words is what you just said. I don't know. Until the governor gives his statement about what's going to happen with the school year, that's definitely going to have an impact on what happens with high school sports. Wisconsin just announced that they're delaying their fall seasons. Volleyball won't start until sometime in September because it's a major contact type sport or with more proximity compared to, say, like cross country and so on. But I hope we have a season. I've been in the gym quite a bit over the last month, just getting kids kind of caught up to speed, and it was kind of fun to work with the kids again. But at the same time, we know that the likelihood of us having a season this fall is kind of a flip of the coin, really, right now. So.
Hey, Jeff, Mike Spolidoro here. You mentioned being in the gym with the kids. What are the kids doing to try to continue to stay in shape or keep the skills up to prepare for this potential upcoming season?
Well, speaking on behalf of my daughters, both my daughters have been doing some of their own workouts. We've been using Drees a lot. And then also with the kids at MPA Mounds Park, where I am a high school coach, we have had a middle school camp and a high school camp, and then we've been having basically open gyms, as many as we can. But of course, we're practicing social distancing as much as we can, sanitizing during every water break, and so on. So yeah.
Very good.
Speaking of that high school season, let's talk a little bit about your team last year. Fantastic season, making a state tournament. I was able to get up and see one match there. Man, some great talent up there, and you certainly had to be thrilled with how the high school season went.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with it being my first year at Mounds Park, I knew what Mounds Park had, not just because of my two daughters there, but also with Catherine Moore, who's now going to St. Olaf. She's a huge loss for us. So replacing her in the middle is going to be a hard thing to do this year. But for the school's experience to be at state tournament for the first time ever, it was really a wonderful thing. The feedback I got from parents and teachers and admin, along with the rest of the student body. I mean, it was fun to have everybody at the state tournament. So, and I know Northfield experienced that this year too. So
yeah, we had a really great year. We were a little bit of underdogs in the early part of the season, I think, and then as the early season tournaments came on, especially the Marshall tournament, we did pretty well at Apple Valley. We won the Marshall tournament. That's the first ever. And at Lakeville North tournament, we won that. And these are just things that had never happened in Northfield before. So there's a lot of buzz around the team. There's a lot of hope for this year. We did lose a couple of major players last year, including our setter, who really led us in a lot of that. So we're looking forward to things. If everything comes off, the biggest match of in history ever played at Northfield High School is slated at this moment for September 2. That's a Wednesday evening, and we would host the Egan Wildcats in Northfield, and it would be for sure the biggest match we've ever played. Then we certainly are hoping that would come off. But yeah, we'll have to see what develops, and you just have to kind of roll with it. I think that's all there is.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, I'm curious, how is Laura doing with her shin splints? Is she having no pain at all now?
Yeah, I think things are good. She's recovered well, maybe too well. I think she spends a lot of time horizontal and phone in front of her face, and I'm looking for some advice to change some of that and get her back into a little bit of a
that was doctor prescribed, correct?
Yeah, that was
yes, doctor prescribed.
So I think it's safe to say that shin splints are a thing of the past, but they're
that's good to hear.
The lung capacity might be something we need to consider a little bit here. But yeah, she's excited. I think she's a kid like a lot of others that just needs to get out and see some competition, get out with other kids and play, and that's the hope, that we can get back to some form of that. I think each kid drives the other, and getting in a group and playing in matches and in practices and things where you're with other people. Some people are very good at motivating themselves to get out and do something on their own. Others need group activities. And
having that social gathering does make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Right. So, excellent. So, all right. Well, you guys continue to enjoy your time down there, and say hi to the other coaches for me, and I'll pay attention to the rest of your podcast here.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate you calling in very much, and good luck on the fall season, whatever that might be, and we'll certainly talk to you soon.
Thank you, and you guys too.
Thanks,
Jeff. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, folks, that was Coach Jeff Hogue of Northern Lights, as well as Mounds Park Academy, led his team to a state tournament, first ever state tournament appearance for them last year. I believe in Class A, but I'm guessing on that a little bit. Just fantastic results for them, and really energized the school again in a sport maybe where they haven't had success in the past. To really have that success is a big deal. It's going to motivate the younger kids in that area and the kids that are in that school, hey, look at what they did.
Yeah,
and I want to be a part of that.
I think you're right, Jim. I think it is a critical factor for high school coaches to recognize that it's not in the now, right? They need to prepare for what's coming. What are my 6th graders, 7th graders? And you think, oh my gosh, those are young kids, but they are the future of the program. And so to coach in the now and to develop for the future, it's a critical task for high school coaches.
Yeah, we've got a long-time football coach in Northfield. Name is Bubba Sullivan. I don't want to guess how many years he's been there, but it's been a long time. And he has put in a philosophy of coaching that the younger kids want to be a part of that program. I want to play for Bubba.
Yeah.
He's seen that success over the years. He's seen the development of these kids, and I want to be a part of this. And so that just really drives that development from whatever 5th, 6th, 7th grade on. I want to be a part of what's going on here. And it isn't all about wins and losses in that case. It's a lot about participation. I've had the assistant coaches that work for him tell me that it isn't always about the kids that are starting, but they're giving a place for kids to go that might not have something otherwise. So, hey, I might be spending my time getting in trouble after school instead of going to football practice.
Right.
So they're providing something positive for these kids too, and that's a lot of it.
And I think it's so interesting to, having 3 children now that have gone through into the high school ranks. When I watch, we've experienced a lot of sports, basketball, volleyball, hockey, soccer, etc. When I watch some of the kids that peak at their younger ages, 6th grade, 7th grade, you think, we are riding this horse all the way, but they matured early. And it's no fault of their own, and it just kind of happened, and they dominated young. And when they got into high school, they came back to the pack a little bit. And so that's why it's so critically important to foster that development throughout the program, because you don't know what 6th grader is going to grow 6 inches or experience great agility over the next few years and become a phenomenal high school athlete.
Yeah, I remember a kid in 6th grade. It's funny you mentioned that. I'm going to say his name. Hopefully, if he's listening, he doesn't mind. His name was Alan Conley. And in 6th grade, he was way ahead of the rest of us in development. He was a big, tall kid, tough kid. Probably could have grown a full beard in 6th grade, I'm not sure. But, yeah, everybody else catches up later.
Yeah.
But, I think that progression is interesting. So you've got kids that are in different stages of development through those years, from 7th grade kind of through the end of your high school career. And you're just kind of looking as a coach and as somebody who's involved with these programs to what do I have for a talent pool and how can I develop that and where are these different kids at? I think that really keeps it interesting.
And how can I connect with the kids and help them to feel valued in a program and feel valued on a court or on a field and that sort of thing. I have a similar story of one of my good friends in 6th grade. He was 5'6" in 6th grade, and he was kind of a monster at 5'6". So he played the inside in basketball, and as a senior, he was 5'6", and he was a guard, and it just didn't really happen. So he scored 30 points a game in 6th grade, and just that was it. So yeah, very important. And youth sports, it's about confidence. It's about believing in yourself and belonging to a greater good. And so it's very important for these coaches to foster a community of that.
Right, and I think you hear that a lot. You hear the coaches talk about life lessons that they learn from this, and it isn't all about just the wins and losses. It is about preparing for other things in life. It's for your career. It's for gaining confidence too. Maybe you tend to be a person who's shy in front of others, and a team sport like this can help you overcome some of that. The right coaching can give you the confidence to say, okay, I may not be strong at this, but I am strong at this, or I'm developing those skills. And I think that's a big deal in team sports, is just that development of your confidence, so that you find what you're good at and you're confident to put yourself out there and do that.
Yep, and as you talk about what gets you to where you want to be, it's work ethic. And that many of these kids won't play sports beyond college for sure, and even into college. And so what work ethic have you developed? What abilities have you developed to work with other people who may not be like you, may not share the same interests, may not share the same desires and state, but you and I know as elders in this society now, you work with people, you have bosses, and you've got to be able to adapt.
Well, and I think you find a common interest. So these kids and we talk a lot about volleyball here, of course. These kids are interested. That's their passion. So what can they do through that sport? At least that is the one thing that they share as a common bond and an interest. And how can I kind of develop those skills into other things? So if I'm a little bit scared about my college choices and I'm nervous about that process and I'm kind of hesitant to get into it, what can I draw from what coaching staff like we have at Lights have taught me about volleyball, and how can I spin that into other things in life that become important and other decisions that I have to make?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Well, we need to
I'm gonna
attract
step
the
away for one
attention
moment.
to Coach Lairs here. I'll take over for a little bit here while Mike goes and gathers up Coach Lairs. We got a couple of other things coming for you here yet tonight. For sure, we're going to have a call with the man who's known by the three letters of DTR, Dieter. That is Dieter Fuss. I'll explain a little bit what that means. A friend of mine from work who occasionally runs for public office. And we're going to have a little conversation with him later on here. He lives up in South Minneapolis. He is very near all of the unrest that has been taking place up there in the southern part of the city. So we're going to talk to him. I know he's out having some fun tonight too as well. He's out at some of the local tap rooms up in that area. So we're going to take a call from him. If you tuned in early, you may have heard him come on early in the program here, and we're going to revisit him. If there's anybody else that wants to call in, I think you'll see our number on the front screen there. And we're going to be joined now by Coach Nate Lairs here. Okay, so we're getting our camera set up here. But we're going to talk to Coach Lairs here. Remember again that he was the coach of the 17 Red team this year. Definitely, and we're getting Nate on the air here now. We're joined again by Coach Nate Lairs, and we're going to just talk a little bit about, let's revisit the season that was and the season that's coming. And we, of course, don't know necessarily what's going to be coming in the fall season for high school, but we have to remain hopeful that something's going to come. But let's visit a little bit. Let's go back and reminisce about, number one, that Orlando win, and just talk a little bit about
Omaha.
Oh, I'm sorry, Omaha. I'm getting my O's mixed up here a little bit. But let's talk about the season that was. We want to go through that again a little bit with you. So welcome, Coach Lairs.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I could reminisce for days. I don't even know where to begin. It was a really good season. I mean, it started back in November, December, whenever we had our first team practice, and really started in December and early January, working in the gym leading up to competition. Me and Laura saw it early on, like those girls worked so hard in practice. They, had no clue about me or Laura, listened to what we said, worked hard. Sometimes you get kind of people that kind of, I don't know if I trust this or that, but they trusted us, started competing, had some early success end of January. That, what tournament was that? The Lights qualifier.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Had some early success that was really beneficial, because then they started seeing, this is making sense. What the work we're putting in is starting to produce, and they kept with it. And Omaha, it's pretty incredible to see.
All came together.
Came together really, really fast.
So, Nate, we've had a few years of experience with my daughters. You seem to have a progression on starting the girls in one place with a vision to get to the future. Can you talk a little bit about how you prepare the girls to grow and learn and get you alluded a little bit to the confidence in the system, but talk about you don't start day one with the end state, right?
Correct. Each team, each year is different. You kind of have to look and see, what do we have, what's our potential, and you kind of create a vision. Sometimes, as coaches, you kind of look ahead, and you kind of look at different stages. Where do we think we can? Where are we now? Where do we think we can be at this stage? Where do we, what stages are we looking for? And so we kind of set, each big tournament is kind of a different stage, and we thought, okay, well, like the Lights qualifier, I can't remember exactly, but I think we kind of had that goal. Well, let's try and medal. I don't think we had the goal of trying to win it, so I think that would have been maybe too premature. Omaha, I definitely didn't have the goal of winning it. I don't know what our goal was, but because that's a really tough tournament. But it was kind of that first tournament, maybe medal, and we did that, and then we kind of saw that progression. And then we kind of thought, well, Omaha, now after seeing that, we have a shot at winning. So that's kind of a goal. We didn't explicitly set that as the team. Definitely get into gold and see what can happen. But yeah, we kind of each year we kind of get our team. We kind of have a progression of things we do. We need to be a team early on. We kind of set that. That's top priority, playing as a team, getting that culture, like how do we play, how do we act as teammates. That's number one. Because if we don't have that, it doesn't really matter what our tournament goals are, right? So that's kind of the number one, and we kind of saw that was gelling really early.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit. The developing this confidence, and I think that's a big thing for girls on the teams like this, is just to say, what can the team do to help team sports to help me develop confidence for other things in life. And I think that just carries through to a lot of other things. We've talked about that a little bit, and I think the lessons that they learn here can be really valuable for any other decisions of things that have to come up in life. And you have a good base of having been through some tough times, whether it's in sports or other things, can help you again later in life when you have big decisions to make.
Oh, definitely. Like that, learning and growing and failing and having success and having people to rely on and not just doing it alone. Like there's a lot of examples in there that you can play sports to real life for sure.
Yeah. So the fall season, what are your thoughts? I don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the fall season yet, and I'm sure there's a lot of players out there that have a lot of uncertainty about what they're going to get in their fall season. But any advice for them on kind of how to deal with this and to keep your spirits up and things like that as we go into fall?
I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, I don't coach in the fall. I don't have any skin in the game, as they would say, I guess. So I don't really know. I haven't really been thinking about it because there's a lot of things to be thinking about right now. So that's one thing I'm not thinking about. I guess it's only advice I would say is, I don't just be prepared. Either way, kind of roll with the punches, I guess.
Yeah, I know you don't coach in the fall, Nate, but I know I've seen you in the gym quietly observing. So I know your passion for volleyball and for the girls. I would
love to be able to go watch everybody that I coached last year, watch them compete in their high school season. So I love that. I've coached high school, and that is fun. It is fun having the high school atmosphere and like hearing about what went on in school today, and like, when they have homecoming week, they tell me, today was you wear this day or whatever it is, and just hearing about all the high school stuff, because you don't really get that in the club season because everybody's high school is different. So
so when they show up with purple wigs and tutus to practice,
then it's like, there was purple wig tutu day or whatever it was. And then you get, then you have the fans, unless, like you're Edina, sorry, but they didn't have a lot of fans. It was actually kind of quiet. But you kind of get that. So it is a fun atmosphere, but I think I like it better as a fan myself to go there and not coach and just kind of sit with the parents, the families, the fans, and watch them on their high school teams, because high school teams for them, it's kind of a different dynamic, and just seeing them in that different atmosphere outside of the club is kind of fun to see.
Yeah, I think things can vary a lot. Of course, if you're a player on a really talented high school team, you might have different goals and thoughts about that than if you're one of maybe.
You got to play a little bit bigger role and
sure.
cover more court. So
things change.
It's fun to see that.
We actually just talked to the Hogster earlier. He was a caller into the show, and
did he call in? Oh.
He did call in. He didn't have very kind words for you. No, I'm kidding.
Well, we have another call in right now, so let's take this one. Hello, caller. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Hello, this is Kara Spolidoro. I'm calling from Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
Well, how are you doing this evening?
Wonderful, thanks. How are you?
All things are good here. We're having a great time here at the Mineral Springs Brewing Company. We're currently talking to Coach Nate Lairs about kind of reliving the glories of the 17 Red season and the big win in Omaha, and just talking a little bit about the future and hopes and thoughts and things like that. So it's a really nice evening here.
Did you have an interest in that tournament there, Kara?
Well, yeah, the tournament was one of the favorites that I've had. 2 championships for Spolidoro girls that tournament. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, lots of good memories from that tournament. But I do have a question for the group.
Okay, well, go ahead.
What time are you coming home?
Yeah, right. There's
pick up bread.
Yeah, right.
Bread, milk, eggs.
No, much more important. I was wondering if anybody has heard about the possibility if the high schools are not allowed to have a season this fall, would clubs step in and fill the gap? Has anybody heard anything about that?
No.
Well, a straightforward answer there from Coach Nate.
I don't think anybody. No, I don't think anybody knows.
Well, the reason I ask is because USA Volleyball sent out a survey last week for families, and Mike probably got to see that survey. I think I just put it out for our family, but one of the questions was that it said if high schools aren't allowed to have a season, would you still want your child to have some sort of a competitive
like in place of that in the fall, or
yes,
an extended club season, maybe, Kara?
Well, yeah, maybe like a fall club season. Yep.
Well, I could see probably maybe not a formal like lengthened club season, but maybe some kind of something, in the gym, if nothing, I could see there being something, but I think.
I assume you deal with the challenges of the different organizations. So, for example, the Minnesota State High School League with North Country Volleyball has delineation on here's the date in which the high school season ends. And so as you filter around the clubs around the country, each state maybe have a different, so maybe that would be one of the challenges. But I like the idea and the thought. I'm sure Kurt would be all over shortened club preview season, if you will.
Yeah, I think one of the. Go ahead.
Yeah, it gave me hope when I read that. I thought, well, maybe we have a plan B if plan A doesn't work. So.
Right, I think you've seen a lot of people too calling for let's switch the spring and fall seasons. Okay, well, for football and baseball and softball that maybe makes sense, but I don't think they were really thinking about the indoor sports so much when they suggested that. What does that mean, and how would that be pulled off, and what does that do to the club season, which. Not everybody knows what those schedules are. I think a lot of people assume, volleyball's a fall sport and that ends in November and then we don't play that again until next September. Well, that's not the case. Of course, people that know in club, that club season picks up immediately after the high school season. So
literally the weekend of.
Literally the day after. So I think that's a lot of challenge.
These kids too. These kids who need to try to get in some recruiting. There's a lot of opportunities for these kids who have some goals in that area. So I don't know how that would work either.
Yeah, a lot of challenges, that's for sure. And I think it's easy to sort of discuss some of that in generalities, but when you get down to the details, a lot of things to think about there.
Yep. Well, thanks for your time. I'll hang up and listen to the rest of the show.
Well, do you have any questions about the brewery that we're at? Maybe we can pull in. I see there.
Yes.
We see one of the brewer owners is looking a little not busy. Maybe you guys pull him over.
Okay, so Mike and I have this debate sometimes. Like he thinks that a pilsner or a lager is not possible to be a craft beer, and I beg to differ. I prefer a little bit lighter beer, especially on these hot summer days. So, do they have you kind of on that pilsner lager side?
I could definitely speak to that because I side with the lighter beer. They have a lager. They also have, I would recommend, they have a cream ale, and then I did not try the Kolsch, but that probably would have been my next choice.
Yeah.
And then
I would try that.
Then a Somerset wheat. I would recommend all of those.
Yeah, the lager is, we're going to have to get an owner over here, but Leomis?
I can't quite read that either. But
Latomisil or something.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the owners earlier, and they do have big artwork that they just received today. And each of the beers he mentioned was named after something local to the area in terms of the history. So they've made these big posters that they're going to put up for sound deadening, but each of the pictures is postcards from history 100 years ago, and each of the beers is kind of reminiscent of the area here. So we'll have to ask that question to Bill or Mary.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Do Bill and Mary offer flights of beer tasting?
You know, as Jim and I were setting up the broadcast here, we noticed the table with which we left all of a sudden received a flight. So somewhat disgustedly, the answer to the question is yes, and we missed out.
You missed out. And you have to make up for that.
Was the flight good, Nate?
Well, I don't think I tried any of the flight. It was ladies only. So you might have to get them over here to give you some feedback.
Well, Kara, we will get the answer to your lager question, and appreciate you calling in.
Yep. All right. Talk to you guys later.
All
Bye.
right, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, that was Kara Spolidoro, guest call in. So, any final thoughts?
Oh, final thoughts. I don't know. No, it's been a fun time coming out to the brewery. Our chaperones, Bill and Mary, were telling me about this back when they were chaperoning in Omaha about the brewery, and my plan was to make it down here, so finally made it down. So
Yeah, it's one of those things that we talk about. Oh, well, it'd be fun, a lot of fun to do that sometime. We should make that happen, and sometimes that's going to be difficult, but tonight's the night. We made it happen. It was good.
just pull the trigger, set a date. I'm doing it. Who wants to join?
Yeah, it's been very enjoyable. This has been a great experience, and I hope to keep this alive. We did a Northfield experience without out the sound, but I believe that we could have a history in kind of the brew pub volleyball discussion.
Yeah. Maybe the fruity, I don't know if you've been out to the fruity, frothy frappuccino.
No, I heard that company went bankrupt, and it was replaced with something that I don't dare pronounce on the air for my fear
Yeah, I
of,
think I heard it
slipping on
once, and I don't even think I could. No, I don't think.
Which also may be bankrupt, and there may be.
I think that company is out too, and I think it's onto something else unpronounceable.
Although I did see the Dan Stein alligator crocodile removal service. He treated me out, as a sponsor. So shout out to Dan Stein for a lake cruise on Prior Lake was very nice.
Okay,
most
made it
excellent.
out there.
Yeah, Dan's been a long-time sponsor. For those of you who don't know, it's the Dan Stein Alligator Crocodile and Varmint Removal Services of Prior Lake, Minnesota. And they have been a long-term sponsor for our little podcast here and broadcasts of games that we do. And we certainly a shout-out to Dan for his long-term support here. And, very much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
All
Very
right.
good.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it. And we'll let you get back to the table there, and we'll see who else we can get here. All right, folks. We're just going to take a short standby here. Actually, I'm going to make a call to the man they call Dieter and see if he is still around. I know he was kind of wrapping up his evening, but let's make a call here and see if the man known as Dieter. All right. We may have waited too long. If you tuned in early.
Dieter here.
Dieter, yeah. Welcome to the podcast, Dieter. You are on the air.
Yeah, Dieter here. Is Dieter live?
Yeah, you are live, and we hope this time you do not end up on the cutting room floor. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Dieter in Uber, yeah.
So you're in an Uber right now, is that right?
Yeah, Dieter in Uber going from, North Loop area, and going to South Minneapolis,
Okay, so
Powderhorn Park. Dieter, go home,
Okay, you're headed home for the night. You had some fun at Fulton, the way it sounds, and
Fulton Brewery,
Okay, did you guys go anywhere else? And then tell us a little bit about how the campaign is going. Tell us first of all what office you're running for. We always lose track of that if you're running for Senate. We had heard you were going to make a presidential run, so just talk a little bit about your campaign here.
Yeah. So as you know, Dieter ran for Senate previously, it went quite well, as the numbers shake out, maybe not as high as we hope for, but when you run campaign on $1 or $2, not more than it's a little difficult, to make way. But we're in point of waiting it out here and seeing what happens, waiting it out,
Yeah.
Dieter waited out guy. Dieter is the waited out candidate. You never know. Maybe last guy standing. Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah. Other people are leaving, getting drunk. They're losing money in jail. Yeah. Here waiting, happy, doing a couple push-ups. Yeah, Dieter. So Dieter maybe there. Yeah, maybe president. Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Okay, well, we certainly wish you the best of luck in whatever office that you want to run for. We're always, as Dieter mentioned, if you weren't able to hear it there, we're looking for $1 or $2 to support the Dieterfest campaign. Last office you ran for was the Senate, Minnesota, that was ultimately won by Tina Smith. And I know there was some controversy about what happened to the money from that campaign. We collected about $22. And I understand that a staffer on your campaign spent that money on beer. Do you just want to visit with us real quick about what happened to that money?
Yeah, the money, yeah, so Dieter has retained, three lawyers. The Dieter has Schwartzman, Vink, and Schwartzman, two Schwartzmans working on this. And yeah, they're just making sure everything on up and up. And yeah, so to feel comfortable when you give $1 or $2 to the campaign, yeah, for whatever office I'm running, yeah, it would be given back to community through Dieter's good deeds. Yes.
Okay, well, it's certainly good to know that the money is going to a good cause. Buying beer for folks is always a good cause, I think, so that's a positive thing. But you know what? We're going to have to move on with the program here, but we've been certainly thrilled to have you along with us, riding along for a little bit here. We wish you luck in whatever office that you choose to run for this year, be that president or dog catcher or local block captain, which I understand you've already accomplished there in your neighborhood. You are the block captain. So take care, be safe, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Yeah, Dieter out.
All right. Have a good evening, Dieter. We'll talk to you soon. All right. That was Dieter Fuss, friend of mine from work. A little bit of a skit there to have some fun in between. We're joined here now by a couple of Northern Lights coaches. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do at Northern Lights, and then we'll go from there. So go ahead.
Okay, I'm Schaefer Rupar. I am the 15 white head coach, my first year coaching at Northern Lights, because I'm originally from Wisconsin, but then she's my best friend, so she convinced me to coach.
I'm Annie. I was an assistant coach on the 17-2s this last year. It was my second year coaching at Lights. And the first year, I think I was 18s, something 18s. But yeah, it's my second year, first year for Schaefer, so we're happy to be there.
So it certainly was a challenging year, you can say that, different than others in the past. Maybe just talk to us a little bit about how that went, how your seasons went, and what you picked up from the season, and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to end in March because I feel like March is the month when a lot of stuff starts to click and teams start to go upwards, so not having to stop and not continuing with everything was really a big bummer. And yeah, it was pretty hard, pretty tough to break the news to the girls. I was pretty sad, but I coached younger girls, so it's good to know that they have a future and can keep building on what we learned.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I think the younger kids probably are not as affected by this just because they say, well, I've got other years to play. This is 1 year out of, if I'm 13, 14, 15, I got time to go yet. Those that are 17, 18, this is maybe a little bit of a bigger deal. Hey, this is going to affect my immediate future, and it affects recruiting and things like that.
Absolutely, definitely affects recruiting, especially when we really only got Omaha for a big tournament. And then, I mean, it's just like kind of the uncertainty with the whole season. It's like, are we going to have a season? Are we not? And it's like for a little bit, you don't know if you're going to be able to come back or not. So it's really just rolling with the punches. But especially with the older girls, it does impact recruiting. But at the same time, everyone's in it together. So it's not like there's other recruiting going on. I mean, it is just everyone's in the same boat for this year.
Yeah, I do think that is one thing to keep in mind here, that everybody was affected by this the same for the most part. This didn't affect a certain part of the country or only a certain country or only a certain state.
Yeah.
I think it is something that everybody's dealing with, and just have to find a way to go forward. And it's just another in a long line of challenges that you face, whether as an athlete, that could be injury, that could be family dynamics, things change in your life, whatever that might be. This is just another challenge that you have to come up with. So. You guys involved in fall ball at all? High schools, things like that you have coming up if there's a high school season?
Yeah, we're working right now with a lot of athletes who come into the gym. I'm doing a lot of camps and stuff, and I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding everything, but I think the cool part is that they kind of learn that everything can be taken away in a moment. So like every time they step in the gym, they're not sure when the next time is, so they take everything a little more seriously, which is a good lesson to learn from this. But that's one thing I've seen, is that every step in the gym now is a little more purposeful.
Yeah, I think that does give people a little pause to say, okay, this could be taken away from me for whatever reason, be that injury or something like this or whatnot, so you maybe appreciate it a little bit more. Don't take it quite as much for granted. Annie, same kind of thoughts on your part?
Absolutely. And when you're dealing with an injury, you could be out for weeks, months, but for this, it's like you're missing your teammates and you're missing the actual team dynamic, so I think it hits a little bit deeper than normal, especially when you compare it to an injury. It's like you're missing your team for months and you're missing your sport.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you guys. You're enjoying your summer. I mean, how are things going? Are you adapting pretty well? And, we're having a great evening here. Again, we're at the Mineral Springs Brewing Company in beautiful downtown Owatonna. This is something that we've been talking about for quite a while, doing with Coach Lairs and with Spolidoro Sports Network here. We'd like to get down here and visit, and tonight's the night. So it was a lot of fun to get out here. And how are your guys' summers going in general?
Yeah, it's good. It's weird. I'm a grad student, so I am taking all my classes online right now, so that is my summer. So it's kind of weird, not normal, not very fun, but finding ways to keep everything fun and seeing people in the extent that I can is important. But yeah, weird times. I'm a social person. I like being around people, so it's weird.
That can definitely add to the challenge here. So now you're both Gustavus students, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, we both graduated from Gustavus.
Okay, so all right, and talk a little bit about St. Peter. How was your experience down there? Good, I take it?
It was always fun. I love this small town. I mean, we could walk anywhere. Everyone basically in your classes, and you got to know your professors on a really good basis, and that was the easiest and best thing. Is if you weren't understanding something in class, it wasn't like you had to look at office hours or whatever. You could just email them and easily talk to them about whatever, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I had a similar thing. I went to the community college in Fergus Falls for the first 2 years before I went to NDSU, and that was probably the best decision I made. For one thing, the credits were cheap. It was $25 a credit in those days. And we got really good individual attention from professors. You weren't in weeder classes where they were trying to get rid of people.
Yeah.
They were trying to encourage people and do what
and
it
for us being athletes too, they were so invested in us just outside of our studies too. So many of our professors would be like, "Oh, your game was great last night. When's the next one?" And they'd be in the stands. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I think you probably see that a little bit more at some of the smaller schools than you would at a really large school where some of that gets lost in the mix a little bit. You can bring that in here a little bit more and have a more personal experience. So,
that's fun.
Any final thoughts, you guys?
It's been a fun time being interviewed.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone here is wondering what radio station, what bigwigs we are to be able to do this.
We took a couple of calls from people we didn't know and maybe others that we shouldn't have talked to. I'm not sure, but we weren't sure about that call from New Jersey, but it turns out they were from the table over here, so that was enjoyable. But, hey, appreciate both of you being on the program here and coming down to Owatonna today. It's really
Thanks
enjoyable.
for having us.
So, all right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. All right, folks. Good segment there, and appreciate the girls visiting with us a little bit. I'm sure we're going to still try to get one of the Cronins over here, who are part owners here in Mineral Springs Brewing. I think we're back on the air here. We got Mike back now.
Yep. I talked to Bill. I think he'll be over in a bit. They're pretty busy here, so we certainly don't want to disrupt operations. That this is I'm sure it's a very tight business. They're only open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is not their permanent job, so we certainly don't want to take away from revenue-generating business to have them come talk to us. But I bet, knowing Jim and Mary personally, I bet they'll make some time for us.
Yeah, I think this reminds me a little bit of some of the tap rooms in the Twin Cities where it's packed into the weekend. Some of them are open 6 days a week. Others are only Friday and Saturday. I think it depends on what people have going on in their lives. I know one that we like to go to is Bang Brewing up in St. Paul there. And I know that's a husband and wife team that they're only able to do this on the weekend. So it's Friday and Saturday, and they're already working another job, and then they're packing this in, and certainly really keeps them busy. And
what Jim, you and I have talked about trying to get up into Northwest Wisconsin. There's Amory Ale Works up outside of Amory, and Jenna, who runs that, is she works full time for Wells Fargo IT, and then she's open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's a beautiful little setting, so I truly hope we can make that happen, because like this, it's nice and quaint and just intimate, right? It's not a big ordeal. It's an intimate location with good people and good beer.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what makes a lot of this interesting is, it's a gathering of friends, and we're going to spin the camera around here a little bit and show you what the tap room looks like. I just think they got a great space here. And that's just evidenced by the amount of people that you have in the place. So you got a great buzz going on here. When we arrived here, it was a bit difficult to find a parking space, to be honest with you. So that didn't surprise me, given that they're only open the 3 days like that. And it's just a perfect summer evening, hot and humid. This is Minnesota in July, and boy, you got to eat it up.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, we haven't gotten to the dog days of August, but we're certainly feeling some bark going on right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, yeah, this is a picture of the bar. Partial owner Bill just entering your view there, and Mary behind the bar. They are parents and, as we mentioned earlier, chaperones of our Omaha trip. Their daughter Kinsey played with our daughters, and just really fine people. So it was a pleasure. We made it a destination, an objective to get down here to visit their establishment, because they're just good people.
Yeah, definitely one of those things we've been talking about doing for a while, and as a lot of things are, it's difficult to pull it off, but tonight's the night. We're here, and it looks like we're going to get joined here by Bill Cronin, and we'll ask him a few things about the establishment here, and volleyball and life in general and all that good stuff. So I'm going to flip the camera around here. So we're joined now by Bill Cronin, part owner here in Mineral Springs Brewing. How are things going? And glad to see you tonight. Just awesome to be here.
No, thanks for coming down. It's going really well. Actually, we've been open 8 months, and with COVID, obviously we didn't plan for any of this, but it allowed us to. We changed our model a little bit. We bought a canning machine, and we started canning, and we started doing a bunch of off sale, which we had to, because by governor's order we couldn't be open. Mm-hmm. And that's really opened things up. Like, we've been moving cans all night tonight. You see a lot of people in the tap room and on the patio, but the cans, it opened up a vein that we didn't even know was there. So it's been great.
Opened up a vein I didn't know was there, and I promise you I will take a 4-pack of cans home with me this evening. So
yeah, and that's exactly it. We all have day jobs. There's 5 owners. We all have day jobs that aren't involved with brewing and retail or anything like that. But so we've learned on the fly. But we all also like to research and understand what we're getting into. So we studied this thing up. And one of the things they say, every brewery should have to-go stuff, because people enjoy something. You say, hey, would you like one to, not for the road, but would you like one to take home? And it's surprising how many people take one home, which is great for us.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I think that you're right. I think that kind of drives on it. You come to the tap room, you have a good experience. Yeah. You want to take a little bit of that home with you, and share it with other people that maybe can't get down here, be present, that sort of thing. So I do think that has changed things a lot to have that as an option.
Yeah, you and I hadn't met before the season, and the chaperoning experience was wonderful for me. And as I heard about the tap room, I started to look on the website about this. What is this thing that Bill's got going? And what struck me was, as I read about, you mentioned 5 owners. I read community. It really feels like you guys are grounded in the community, and you're doing this really for a purpose of community rather than a bar.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's been foundation. None of us need this. It's a hobby. It isn't family income. So when the governor first said that, hey, you can be open, we shut down for a number of weeks just because we're not going to test with that, but because of the community. And so as an example, we just had a beer that we did for a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity. They're building houses in town, so we gave $1,000 to that based on a beer that we were selling. We have Wednesday night, Big Brothers Big Sisters held an event here to get bigs, and we just let them use the space. It's, people drink beer, they use the space. It's been exactly that. So I love the comment. And one of the things is we intentionally talked about this being Owatonna's living room. And I hope there's a little bit of a feel to that. I look around and I just love seeing people yucking it up all night, enjoying the beer, enjoying their experience, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, great. My wife is a fan of the lighter beers, and in the brew houses that we've gone to, that's not very common for people brewing their own beer to brew kind of a lager or pilsner type thing. And so I see up there, I can't pronounce it, but if you can help me with the Litomsi or
Little Missile.
Little Missile. Well,
I'll just use that. I don't want to talk about this all night, but one of the things that we're community centered. So every beer name we have is based on something in the community. So I can go down our whole beer list. I can do it off memory, where it comes from, what it means, and what it means to the community. Little Missile is there's a church about 7 miles south of Owatonna, a Czech. Basically a Czech, settlement, I guess I'd say.
Sure.
And the Czech farmers that settled there, they hauled 600 wagons full of rock, and they built this church out of those rocks, field rock.
Okay.
And so Little Missile's kind of, locally famous. And there's a church and like 2 or 3 buildings, a rectory. The priest used to live there, and that's what it is. But so Little Missile, Kaplan's a huge name in town. Sullivan. Louis S. Sullivan is an architect who designed the Wells Fargo building years ago. It was Farmers Building, a beautiful, ornate building, and his architectural touches around town. So, Somerset's a township out here. Lamond is a township. Steele is the county. But anyway, my favorite one up there, and I'll just share 2 seconds on this one. Emmett and Phyllis. The Emmett and Phyllis Amber, they built this building.
Okay.
In the late 1950s. He was a heating contractor. And anyway, we thought, well, it would be kind of neat to do some research on this building. And we found out it was who built it because I went to a community gathering, and 2 ladies I know made a beeline toward me. And they were thrilled. They had seen this picture in the paper that this building was going to be the brewery.
Okay.
And so we had to name a beer after Emmett and Phyllis, and they've that family's been in here many times, and they're just dear. Awesome connection. Just
did they get to pick the flavor of beer that they want, or did you impose that on them?
We imposed that on them, but
Okay.
But what's pretty cute is we said we're going to name it. We want to name a beer. We ask everybody for permission if they're still living and or if they have family and whatever. And they were thrilled about it. In fact, they immediately, within a few days, we got a bunch of pictures of Emmett and Phyllis. So back in the
Excellent.
50s, 60s, 70s, so it was pretty cool. See you, Steve.
Awesome.
See you guys. Thank you.
And we got some locals leaving here. I do think that's great. I think it's, like you say, the idea of community and kind of involving that as part of your business, and that attracts people from the community, which is what you're really looking to do. So let's talk volleyball a little bit. Fantastic season. We were just thrilled to have Kinsey as part of our team this year, I think. Maybe you can give us a little flavor for her experience, even if it was a shortened season for sure, but kind of what was your impressions of the season, and how did she enjoy the team and so forth?
She loved. It was a great experience. You're probably familiar. She was 2-year starter on the varsity basketball team, and just said, I want to play volleyball, and she went out on a limb. It was pretty anxiety driven. She'd really never been to Northern Lights, to a tryout, and so for her it was all new experience, and it went. I think she would have loved to have been on a higher team, as all of the girls would have loved to have been on a higher team, and you kind of have that experience in a short window of time. They get to know who you are and how you play, and oh my God, Kinsey, she loved it. It was so nice to have the talent that was out there. and it's, we're in a small school, and so you play with who you have, and you have to give up a little bit of bad passing in the back every once in a while. You have to protect certain players. You have to, and I really didn't experience that with this team. This team was full. I mean, this team had all of the pieces. It was pretty fun. Kids, it was a great experience.
Yeah, it's too bad that it didn't last a little bit longer, and we've certainly been over that 100 times. But what we did get for a season was just fantastic.
Yeah.
So that
Phenomenal.
was wonderful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it was very cool. It was a great experience, to win a tournament. I mean, with 60 teams and just to play it out. That's.
I was kind of to that point. I was kind of expecting on the board to see like an Omaha gold medal or some sort. joking aside, but phenomenal, short, compact season, and the girls really progressed. It was fun to watch. Initially, you could see, lots of new kids to the team, and so integration and the culminating with Omaha and beating Black, and then not stop. It was kind of like Miracle on Ice, right? Everyone thinks, "Do you believe in miracles?" was a gold medal. It wasn't, right? And so beating Black was big for the team, but they still had to win another match, and to kind of just hunker down and go after it. It was great.
Yeah, I think it's a good analogy, and it also brings up this idea of that we were the underdogs, I think, to some degree in that whole tournament, and in that match with Black, you were the underdogs, no doubt about it. And to overachieve, to use that term, I guess, and that's just so rewarding to come out ahead when you're not expected to win. That is just such a thrill.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was, we had Kinsey had back-to-back years of state runs in Medford with the volleyball program, and that experience of, losing is not something that, and these girls were all tenacious. You can think of those match points when we just kept playing, and there was a lot of stuff that was kind of familiar, the excitement, the energy, I'm astounded that, I look at the talent that was out there on this team, and it's just weird being in a small school, and knowing that some of these girls hadn't seen a lot of court time in their school. Like, holy, that's astounding to me, because it was to bring girls together, a diverse group of girls together, and to play and anticipate where each other. It was very impressive to me.
Yeah, I think that does speak to coaching, I think, for one thing, but being able to bring a team together of maybe girls that aren't familiar with each other or don't know each other, and say, hey, we've got a few weeks to get ourselves together here and make a team and make a run at things. That is something good, and again, it teaches you a set of lessons that you wouldn't get otherwise. So
that's right, Jim. We talk about the life lessons involved in volleyball, and you're thrown in a room with 10 different kids, and take that into your professional life. You're thrown in a room with 10 different professionals or a college or whatnot. It teaches these kids very good lessons about understanding who you're with and bringing the best out of them. They may not be like you, but you need to figure out how to work with them. So club volleyball for me is it's a phenomenal life experience outside of volleyball.
Yeah, very much so.
No, that's very cool.
A little bit about Medford. What are the expectations in the fall? If we have a fall season, how are the season wrapping up, and how's it looking for you looking ahead a little bit?
We lost our setter, our libero, who was phenomenal. We lost an outside hitter, but I think there's kids that can play. Kinsey, I asked her the other day. I said, "How's it going? How's summer stuff going?" And I said, "Are you guys going to be decent?" She says, "We're going to be decent." And she said, "On a given night, we might be really good." And I love that feeling, like
the confidence.
Really, and I could see it, but I don't know, it would be pretty special if they were able to have a run. I think it's going to be special if they can have a season.
Yeah, definitely. That, of course, is so much of an unknown yet in that. We don't know what the season's going to hold, but you'd hope that they get something out of it.
Yep.
And of course, in high school, as it is in college, you're always having this transition. You have players coming and going from your program. You lose a couple, you're gaining some new talent that you don't necessarily know yet, that's not well understood. Looking to integrate them into the team and hoping that things click, even if it's just some matches. Hey, we really clicked that night,
right?
And that was something that these kids will remember and take on.
Something to strive for the next game. Oh my gosh! In set number 2, we were so good, and let's get that. And if kids can rally that, I think you go back to this Lights team that they did rally. The girls, it was fun because they they pulled each other together. They had plenty of ruts where they did not look good.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
You know, and they found it.
Right.
Well, and I think in Omaha there was, you know, a little bit of illness running through the team too, and so there were girls that were just kind of down and not feeling great. But you know, you get a group of kids together, and you can really elevate everyone, and you start to care about your teammate and say, look, I'm not going to let you down, and you know, you're not going to let me down. We got our back. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, that's good.
Final thoughts? We sure appreciate you joining us here tonight.
Yeah, geez, I appreciate you guys coming down. It's it's pretty cool. Nathan was in touch with Mary and said, hey, we're thinking about coming down, and I'm like, that'd be awesome. Are you guys gonna be around? Oh yeah, we're working.
Yeah.
We do a shift every weekend, and we try to keep this thing going. But it's awesome. It's
I assume Kinsey's in the gym. That's why she's not helping in the back room washing dishes. Or
you know, I mean, I don't know about your girls, but you know, there was that stretch where she wasn't able to get in to do any volleyball, anything. I'm former school board member for 13 years, and I have some connection to be able to. And I was fortunate to be able to get her in there a few times. Mary and I would go in there. Do you know how hard it is to set like this?
It's just toss balls.
we would get close to the net, further away from the net, higher, lower. Like, oh my God, this is hard stuff. But yeah, it was fun. But
see, that's where we need to work together, and you need to call in a second set of parents, because I think kids of other parents are like, yeah, I'll work with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know with my own daughter too. No, Dad, this way, that way. Look,
You're
Audrey,
not doing
just take
it right.
the ball. Right. So if we were just rotate around, like I'll toss balls to Kinsey, and you can toss balls to Audrey. And
it would just be fun to get all the girls together and do it again. I mean, just in a gym setting, and we were traveling. We were in LA, so we missed the get together, and it was just. We were actually trying to figure out if we could get back for that Friday, and it was just like, we just can't do it. You know.
It was a fun time. I tell you, where you were missed most was on the adult kid game. We could have really used a couple additional players.
We wouldn't have added it.
No, we did miss Kinsey. She was a joy, just a great kid. So
thank you.
We're glad she came to the club, and we're glad she landed on our team.
Yeah. All these girls were great. I mean, if Kinsey, I think she's, if they play, she wants to play again, and I don't know what the intentions of each of the girls are, but if she'd be happy as everything if this team played again. That type of it ended too early, all that stuff, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
So, right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it, and for hosting us here. Wonderful place.
Yeah, thanks.
Mineral Springs Brewing, folks. Just having a wonderful time here. We've been joined by Bill Cronin, talking a little bit about life, volleyball, and the business here at Mineral Springs. So appreciate it very much.
Fantastic beers.
Awesome.
Very nice job.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Bill. Yep.
Well, Mike, other thoughts? Is there other people we should bring in here, or maybe
I see Mr. New Jersey over there still. I don't think he'll be calling back, however.
No, I think they're having a good time here. I think they've maybe sampled every beer that's on the board.
You call it sample, I'll call it consumed.
Yeah, there's different ways to look at that. But
we got a big yawn out of Annie. Not sure. It looks like the crew here is ready to go home.
I wonder if we aren't running up at the end of our. Maybe we'll go back over and socialize a little bit more here and kind of wrap things up. But I don't know. Any final thoughts?
I mean, we came here because we knew the Cronins. But I mean to tell you, this place is awesome. Like I was shocked at the diversity of beers. I really was. The variety, as my wife called in earlier, said I like the lagers. Well, I'm an IPA guy at heart, and so they've got a variety. 4 different IPAs, a couple of hazies, a couple of West Coasts. So really, really good diversity, and just really a neat layout. Plain, but a patio outside, tables up in the trees. So this is really a nice place. I would encourage anyone to come down here.
Oh, definitely. I think overall the experience has just been wonderful. Got a great indoor space, outdoor space, like Mike mentioned, room for food trucks. It was a fantastic meal that we had out of the food truck tonight. That was really good. So, yeah, we definitely encourage anybody who's around the area here in wonderful Owatonna, Minnesota. Mineral Springs Brewing. Absolutely a wonderful time here tonight.
Very good, Jim.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here, folks. This has been fun. We're going to look to do this again, I think, soon, I hope. kind of a season preview. We're going to keep holding to that theory that there will be some kind of a season. I think you have to maintain some kind of hope for that. And we're going to keep talking about volleyball and life and beer and all the other good things that go along with that. So appreciate it, Mike. Great night.
Likewise, Jim.
And we'll wrap up here again from Mineral Springs Brewing. Everybody have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.
Good night and be safe.